The following is a production of the University of Minnesota.
Hello, I'm Michelle Grabowski with the University of Minnesota Extension, and today I want to talk to you about a disease that's devastating one of our favorite landscape plants, Impatiens downy mildew. Impatiens downy mildew is caused by Plasmopara abducens. This is a pathogen that is a water mold, so it looks and acts somewhat similar to a fungi. It's actually more closely related to an algae. And this particular pathogen infects a variety of species of impatiens. And our most susceptible impatient species is Impatiens walleriana, which is the standard garden impatiens that you can see growing here. Impatiens downy mildew will also infect touch-me-not, Impatiens balsamina. However, Impatiens hawkerii, which is the New Guinea impatiens, is highly resistant to the disease. So let's take a look at some of the symptoms of Impatiens downy mildew. As you can see here, we have a range of symptoms in this flower bed. And one of the first things that you'll notice in a garden is plants that are infected may begin to drop their blossoms as well as their leaves. So you often get sort of a leggy type of growth to the plant and not quite the nice colorful bloom that you're hoping for. You'll also notice that the leaves will be sort of speckled yellow and green, giving kind of a general yellow color to the planting. They may also cup downward a little bit. And at this stage, what you would want to do is take a closer look at the lower surface of the leaves. And if you take some of these infected leaves and you flip them over, what you would be looking for is a fluffy white cottony growth. And what that is are the spore-producing structures and the sporangia of the pathogen Plasmopara abducens. And once you see that, that's a very good indication that the disease you're dealing with is Impatiens downy mildew. As the disease progresses, the plant will continue to drop blossoms as well as drop leaves. And eventually what you're left with are impatient plants with barely any foliage on it whatsoever, but some very small, delicate leaves remaining hanging on. As the disease progresses even more, the stems will actually flop down and lay on the soil like wet cooked spaghetti noodles. And this is usually the final stage of the disease. And at this very final stage, the pathogen will begin to produce a different set of spores called oospores. And oospores are a specialized spore structure that allow the pathogen to survive in harsh conditions. So we're still learning about Plasmopara abducens and how well the oospores of this pathogen can survive in Minnesota. However, we do know that a close relative, the downy mildew that affects sunflowers, can survive in zone 3 for 8 to 10 years. So those oospores are very long-lived under cold conditions, and we suspect that Impatiens downy mildew, the Plasmopara abducens, will produce oospores with similar longevity in cold climates. So it's highly likely that this pathogen will survive in soils here in Minnesota from one season to the next.